मुन्ना मीटिंग चालू है, आपका साउंड आ रहा है। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome. Let's chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshakarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले, श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text 2. Anyone needs to go first? Okay, then we'll just go in order. Achinta Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. Name viduh suraganaha
Name vidu suraganaha
prabhavam nama harshayah
prabhavam na maharshaya
Aham adirhi devanam
Aham adirhi devanam
maharshinam cha sarvashah.
maharshinam sach sarvashah. Translation: Neither the host of neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Arunita.
Surgana Bhagavan Aham the Adi Devana Mahashina Jasusha. Translation: neither the hearts of demigods, hosts of demigods, nor the great sages know my origin for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Nami vidu suragana prabhavam nashaya aham aditi devanam mahashinam cha sarvashah. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the greatest sages know my origin or opulence. But in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Usha Mataji and Medha.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshyaha aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Translation: neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Thank you.
Thank you. Medha. Okay. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name viduhu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam na sarvasaha. Translation: neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of demigods and sages. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name vidu suruganaha prabhavam nama harshya aham adirhi devanam maharishinam cha sarvashaha. Neither the host of the demigods nor the great sages knows my origin and opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages.
Yes. Okay. Medha, you're there? Okay. I'll recite in the meanwhile. Name viduhu suraganaha prabhavam nama harshaya. Krishna. Prabhavam nama harshaya aham adirhi devanam manushyanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Okay, Lokesh. All right, Madhava, go ahead. Vidhu. Maharshinam Sasavataha. He is the host of demigods, not the great sages, no, my art opulence. For in every respect, I am the host of the demigods and sages. Okay. Yeah. Medha.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Name vidu suraganah prabhavam namahashayah aham adir hi devanam maharshina cha sarvasaha. Translation. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Yes. Lokesh.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Name vidu suragana prabhavam namaharsayah aham adirhi devanam maharsinam cha sarvasaha. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshayah maharshayah aham adirhe devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages knows my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Lokesh is
Lokesh? Not there. Okay. Suvarnangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Sarveshwar Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name viduhu suragana prabhavam na maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Translation. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Mataji, others are not available, Mataji.
Okay, sure. Okay, anyone else? I think everyone has recited. So let's discuss a little bit about this verse. Name viduhu suraganaha prabhavam na maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Krishna is saying that even the demigods and sages cannot know me because in every respect I am the origin. So what did we discuss yesterday? That it is not possible to know about the Lord's origin because everyone else is born after him. Then how we can know? Now we are still discussing how we are discussing. We are all born afterwards, right? We are discussing because the Lord has given his mercy in what way? Through the form of Bhagavad Gita, through his devotees, through acharyas who leave commentaries to understand about the Lord's origin. So, and also about his opulences. Like Krishna says, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, right? They are transcendental, they are eternal. So, can somebody understand this? So let's try to see. So, in what way are his activities divyam? For example, his origin. Krishna is saying prabhavam, right? Prabhavam. Name viduhu prabhavam. Prabhavam. Bhavam means birth. And it's not just birth. Prabhavam means his birth is not just like anyone else. Pra means prakrishtena. That means um, there is some speciality there. His birth is different. How is it different? So uh, normally, how do we take birth? Right? We are a mass of flesh and blood, isn't it? And then uh, you know by the union of the semen and the ovum, right? The embryo is formed. And then finally, after a period of pregnancy, the baby is born. This is how we are born. This is how all other uh, living species in this world are born. But is the Lord also born like that? No. His body is not made of this material flesh and blood. It's not made like that. He entered from the heart of Vasudev into the heart of Devaki. And from there, he appeared in front of them, right? No labor, nothing. When it was time to appear, when he decided to come, he just appeared in front of his father and mother. So, Name Viduhu Suragana, the demigods cannot know me, or the sages cannot know me. So, then why the sages pray to the Lord if they don't know the Lord? They know the Lord, but they have limited knowledge about the Lord. What is the limited knowledge that they have about the Lord? Oh, now this demon is harassing us. Now there is trouble. So when and this demon, because of this demon, the brahmanas are not able to perform the yagyas. Without yagyas, we are starving. We are not getting any food. Oh Lord, please save us. And when the Lord comes, they are very happy. Now we will get our food. Now we don't have to worry. Our problems are over. That's the knowledge they have about the Supreme Lord. Not that how is his birth, right? Prabhavam, how is his birth different? How is it miraculous? This one cannot know by becoming a demigod or by becoming a great sage. That's one point. There's few more points. So his birth is a secret, right? His birth is a secret. So then how can we know this? Yesterday we discussed we can only know this when the Lord shows his mercy. How does his mercy come? His mercy comes through his devotees. So the acharyas, they give their commentaries. These commentaries are nothing but the mercy of Krishna. So the mercy of Krishna is coming through the Guru Parampara, right? And they are leaving behind these commentaries, which is nothing but the mercy of the Lord. And through this mercy only one can understand. Now, even after hearing that Krishna he is taking birth, he is appearing, that means he is taking birth from Devaki and Vasudev, that is also a fact. But at the same time, he has no birth, that is also a fact. Both are correct. He is taking birth and he has no birth. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san 4:6 Bhagavad Gita. Ajaha, he has no birth. But here we are seeing Krishna's birth, right? The first three chapters of the 10th canto, talking about the birth of Krishna. There is birth, but at the same time he has no birth. Both are correct. But if somebody says, how is this possible? This is not logical. I'm not able to accept this. So then such a person will never know Krishna. Will never know Krishna. So if I'm able to accept that Krishna is achintya, achintya means beyond my comprehension. I cannot understand. It's not possible for me to understand with my dull material intelligence and senses. He is transcendental. You cannot understand. But still, the acharyas are trying to give us examples and explain it in a way as close as possible to our dull, jada, buddhi, intelligence, so that we can get some idea, some understanding. We cannot understand it fully, but at least we'll get enough faith by hearing the statements of acharyas, and we accept it even though we don't understand it. If we accept it, like achintya, how do you understand achintya? You just have to accept it that he is achintya. With faith you have to accept it. Then with that enough faith, now you will start bhajan, start chanting his name. Then when you start Shuddha Bhakti, then the Lord will reveal. And when he reveals, when he shows his mercy, then you can understand. Otherwise, it is not possible. Even if you become a demigod or a rishi, it is not possible to understand the Lord's birth or his opulences, his activities. It is not possible to understand. So we will stop at that today. Bhagavad Gita discussion. Let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, did anyone not read the verse yet? I think some Saujanya Mataji and Kalpesh Prabhu. So you can recite the verse. Yeah.
Name Vidus.
Go ahead, Kalpeshwar.
Yeah, please accept all.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name Vidus Suraguna
Gana.
Prabhavan Aham Virhit Harishi. Either of not know my original sense of every respect and
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Your device is, I think your voice is breaking, but you finished reading, I could tell. Okay. Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam Salvesh Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Dandratana Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Name Vidu Suragana Prabhavam Maharshaya Aham Adir Devanam Maharshinam Cha Sarvashaha. Neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am source of the demigods and the sages. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prajna is there, Mataji?
No, Mataji.
Okay. Anyone else? Did everyone recite? Okay. So let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 2. We are reading about the descendants of Vaivasvata Manu. So we read about King Sudyumna and how he retired, and before retiring he handed over the kingdom to his son Pururava, and then Vaivasvata Manu performed tapasya, worshipped the Supreme Lord actually, and got 10 sons. He got 10 sons. The first one is Ikshvaku, and then one of these 10 sons is Prishadra. So we saw how Prishadra, on the order of his guru, had taken a vow to protect the cows throughout his life. Protect the cows by guarding them in the night. Holding a torch, he would, with a sword, he would be standing, guarding the cows in the night so that they are not attacked by any wild animals. One night, a tiger happened to come into the land where the cows were kept, the cow shed, and when the cows saw the tiger, when they understood that there was a tiger, they started, screaming in fear and moving here and there. When Prishadra heard the cows' cries, he could, immediately he came to the rescue of the cows. So this tiger grabbed one of the cows and was dragging it away. So that cow was screaming. So Prishadra immediately came. It was dark. So with his sword, with full force, he cut off the head of that tiger. And then he was satisfied that now I have killed the tiger. Uh, it was night. He couldn't see anything. He was relieved. And in the morning, when he woke up, what did he see? Instead of the tiger, he had actually cut off the head of the cow by mistake. And also, when he cut off the head of the cow accidentally, the tip of the sword had also cut the ear of the tiger. So the tiger this is what had happened in the night. So why the tiger was still not there? If it was the cow that was killed, why the tiger didn't take another cow and go? The tiger's ear was cut. So the tiger got scared and it ran away. But when it was running away, it was the blood from its ear was dripping on the street. So when Prishadra found out what happened, he informed his guru, Vashishta Muni. Vashishta Muni is the one, he is the guru of his father also. Yes, he is the guru of Vaivasvata Manu, who performed this yagya for him in order to get a son. Right? First, Hila was born, and then she was turned to Sudyumna, like that. Anyway, so Vashishta Muni, he informed Vashishta Muni, and Vashishta Muni became very angry with Prishadra that he killed the cow. So he cursed him. Because you killed the cow for this sin, I curse you to take birth as a Shudra in your next life. So Prishadra accepted that curse. He folded his hands and he accepted that curse. So there, Srila Prabhupada said, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments here that Vashishta Muni is Durmati. He has bad intelligence. Why? It is the duty of the spiritual master to give protection to the disciple. Even if the disciple he made some mistake and is going through some difficulty, the spiritual master should help him to come out of that difficulty. Not that when the disciple is in difficulty, he will just, uh, add some more difficulty to the disciple. Why this is said? Because here you see, Rishadra didn't do anything intentionally. He was not, a wicked-hearted person. Or he had dedicated his life to protect the cows, and that too on the order of the spiritual master. And unknowingly, and this act was also done to protect the cows. But because it was dark, by somehow, he happened to kill the cow. So he should have actually, Vashishta Muni should have found some means of atonement for Prishadra. Instead, he cursed him, you become a Shudra in your next life. So therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, Vashishta Muni is Durmati. Anyway, after this curse, Prishadra accepted the curse. And what did he do? He took a vow of lifelong brahmacharya, and he started performing uh, Ashtanga yoga practice. So he was controlling his body, controlling his mind, all those things. And what else was he doing? He was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then by this meditation, Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, he was completely absorbed in the Supreme Lord, so much so that he became a pure devotee. So therefore, he became like the Paramahamsa stage, where now he is not affected by anything in this world, practically moving around like a mad person, not being affected whether somebody, respected him or, mistreated him. No effect on him. He was wandering on the earth like this, without any cares. And once he came to a forest and there was a forest fire. So Prishadra took advantage of the forest and entered it and to burn his body, and in this way to end that body. And after this, it said Brahma Prapa, he attained Brahma. So Brahma Prapa means Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I think, says that he actually, because he became a pure devotee, he entered into the spiritual world. And Srila Jiva Goswami explains that he actually got Brahman. He entered Brahman like that. So either way, he was liberated. So that's what we read yesterday. Then, let's see. With this attitude, Prishadra became a great saint, 14. And when he entered the forest and saw a blazing forest fire, he took this opportunity to burn his body in the fire. Thus, he achieved the transcendental spiritual world. Now, the next verse. Who's supposed to read today? That's one thing that I'm not able to remember. I don't write it. I know Arunita started yesterday. How far did we go? Anyone remember?
Mataji, Narsingh Prabhu's family has to start.
Family has to start. Thank you so much, Mataji. I appreciate that. Usha Mataji, you're raising your hand.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I read today, Mataji, if possible, before I go?
Yeah, you can read Mataji because
Thank
you are
you.
before Nrsimha Leela Prabhu's family. कविः कनीयान् विषयेषु निःस्पृहो विसृज्य राज्यं सह बन्धुभिर्वनम् निवेश्य चित्ते पुरुषं स्वरोचिषं विवेश कैशोरवयः परं गतः. Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me opportunity. Being reluctant to accept material enjoyment, Manu's youngest son, whose name was Kavi, gave up the kingdom before attaining full youth. Accompanied by his friends, he went to the forest, always thinking of the self-effulgent Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart. Thus, he attained perfection. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So we are reading about the different sons, the 10 sons of Vaivasvata Manu. So first we read about Prishadra. Now we are reading about another son of Vaivasvata Manu called Kavi. Kavi is the youngest son of Manu, youngest of the 10, youngest son. So being reluctant to accept material enjoyment, Manu's youngest son, whose name was Kavi, gave up the kingdom before attaining full youth. Before he even became fully young, right, well developed, before he attained full youth, he gave up the kingdom. Why? Because he didn't want to enter into material enjoyment. Because king means it will have opulences, right? So he didn't want to accept material enjoyment. So he gave up. He left the kingdom before he became a fully grown youth. Along with his friends, he went into the forest, always thinking of the self-effulgent Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart. Thus he attained perfection. Like at a very young age, he just left home, went into the forest, and along with his friends, and he was completely absorbed in the Supreme Lord, and he got perfection. So that is Kavi. So we read about Prishadra and Kavi. So I think yesterday, Kalpesh Prabhu, you didn't read also, right? Or did you read?
No, Mataji.
Yeah, so you can also read and then Medha will read. करुषान्मानवादासन् करुषाः क्षत्रजातयः उत्तरापथगोप्तारो ब्रह्मण्या धर्मवत्सलाः.
From Karusha, another son of Manu, came the Karusa dynasty, a family of Kshatriya. The Karusha Kshatriyas were northern direction. They were celebrated, protect Brahmanical culture, and were firmly religious.
Yes. So another son. Rishadra is over, Kavi is over, and the third one is Karusha. Karusha. From Karusha came the dynasty of Karusha. It's called, that lineage is called Karusha dynasty, and they're all Kshatriyas, and they are great, celebrated, very famous protectors of Brahminical culture. They were firmly religious, like Rajarshis. They're very religious, and they protected the Brahminical culture. Karusha dynasty, and they were the kings of the northern direction. Okay, next. I think Sonia Mataji read yesterday. So, Medha. दृष्टाद्धार्ष्टम् अभूत् क्षत्रम् ब्रह्मभूयं गतं क्षितौ नृगस्य वंशः सुमतिर्भूतज्योतिस्ततो वसुः. Did you read yesterday, Medha?
No, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Should I read?
Yes.
Translation. From the son of Manu, named Drishta, came a Kshatriya caste called Darshta, whose members achieved the position of Brahmanas in this world. Then from the son of Manu, named Nirga, came Sumati. From Sumati came Bhutajyoti, and from Bhutajyoti came Vasu.
Yes. Okay. So you can keep track of the names of Vaivasvata Manu. So we read, of course, we read about Ikshvaku. We didn't go into details, but he's the eldest son. Then we read about, so we'll read about the descendants of Ikshvaku. But anyway, we started with Prishadra. then Kavi, Karusha. Now then another son named Drishta. Drishta. Okay? Like Drishta Dyumna. Drishta. So another son of Manu named Drishta, he was also a Kshatriya. Uh, and his dynasty, his caste is called Dharshtas. Like Karusha dynasty. Now the dynasty coming from Drishta are called Dharshta, whose members achieve the position of Brahmanas in this world. So it is a Kshatriya caste, but they achieve the position of Brahmanas, whereas Karusha dynasty is known as the protectors of Brahminical culture. But here they are born as Kshatriyas, but they achieve the position of Brahmanas. Then from another son of Manu called Nriga came Sumati. So the next son is Nriga. So Drishta is one son, and from Drishta came Dharshtas, and Dharshtas became Brahmanas. Then another son is Nriga. Nriga's son is Sumati. Sumati's son is Bhuta Jyoti. Bhuta Jyoti's son is Vasu. Okay. So the son of Vaivasvata Manu is Nriga. Purport. So Suvarnangi Mataji, I think. Yeah.
Mataji, my turn also.
Yes, after N, because we started with Narsimha Lila Chaitanya Prabhu. You'll come after Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Purport. Here it is said, Shatram Brahma Bhuyam Gatam Sitau. Although the Drashtas belonged to the Kshatriya caste, they were able to convert themselves into Brahmanas. This gives clear evidence supporting the following statement by Narada. Yasya yal lakshanam proktam humso varna abhi vyanchakam vyanjakam yad anyatrapi drishyeta tattenaiva vinirdhishet. If the qualities of one group are found in the men of another, those men should be recognized by their qualities, by their symptoms, not by the caste of the family in which they were born. Birth is not at all important. It is one's qualities that are stressed in all Vedic literature. Thank you, Mataji. Others are not available, Mataji. I am in office. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So this Drishta's dynasty, Dharshta, they became Brahmanas. So one important point is Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Based on Guna and Karma, the society is divided into Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. It is not based on Janma. So they have to have those qualities. But at the same time, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharma Swanushtitat Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. It is better to follow your own duties, even though to perform your own duties, even though faultily, than another's duties. Destruction in the course of performing one's own activity is better, than is far better than doing another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous. And this verse comes twice in Bhagavad Gita. You do your own duty, don't do another's duty. Then how somebody who is a Kshatriya is becoming a Brahmana? He should be doing, and Arjun also. Arjun wanted to do Brahminical duty, isn't it? Arjun wanted to do Brahminical duty, but Krishna is saying, no, you do your own duty. You're a Kshatriya, you act like a Kshatriya, don't become a Brahmana. But here we are seeing Drishta, his descendants from Kshatriyas, they became Brahmanas, and it is even being supported by the Acharyas. They're saying if you see the qualities of a Brahmana, then you should accept him as a Brahmana. Even though he is born as a Kshatriya, when you see the qualities of a Brahmana, you should accept him as a Brahmana. So, how do you solve these two? Can somebody tell? On one hand, it is said that you should do your own duty. Don't do anyone else's duty. Even if you're destroyed, even if you're doing imperfectly your duty, you better stick to your duty. And on the other hand, here it is said that Dharshtas, they became Brahmanas, and that's being supported. How do you solve it? Is anyone listening?
Yes, Mataji. I was thinking what would be the answer. I'm just listening.
Okay. Okay. So I'll tell you because nobody has the answer. Looks like. Okay. So you don't decide like that because sometimes that looks attractive. Nangi Mataji. Chaturvarnyam Shloka. Yes, Mataji. So the explanation is that you cannot decide that, oh, that seems good, now I will do that. It has to be decided by the Guru, right? Somebody who is able to actually identify your qualities. Of course, traditionally it is identified in a Gurukul. There is a Gurukul. Boys go to Gurukul. And by observing the qualities in that particular student, the Guru trains him according. He identifies, first of all, identifies whether he has the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, Shudra, and then he will train him accordingly. So even let's say the son of a king has come to the Guru's ashram, and the Guru is in the course of his teachings, he notices that this boy, even though he is the son of a king, he has all the qualities of a Brahmana. Then the Guru will teach him the Brahmin, the duties of a Brahmana. He will train him as a Brahmana. That is the thing. That is the thing. Not that I feel that. So then once he's trained like that, how he's trained? He's trained based on his nature. Somebody has noticed that. Who has? Somebody means a guru, right? He has studied and he has understood, and the guru is also trained how to identify. He didn't become guru just like that. He received training how to identify somebody's varna, whether this is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and accordingly, according to his nature, then he is given that type of work, that type of education. And once you get that, because that is your nature, it was already studied, and because this is your nature, now you follow that nature. And by following that nature, you are actually progressing. And it does not matter as far as bhakti, varna is for this body. You do your duties in this body. Your livelihood, means of livelihood, is through varna. And by doing that varna, you can become a pure devotee. In this very life, you can become a pure devotee. For your livelihood, you adopt the duties of a particular varna. And while doing that, you are cultivating your Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping the deity you are doing, bhakti. But what is happening in today's society is not considering the nature of the person. Everyone is forced to do a particular job or particular occupation based on the demand in the society. Is it not? Oh, this has more money, so let me go into this field, or this, something like that. So therefore, this is not a scientific system. Hmm? But to recognize what are the qualities in a person, that is a scientific system, because that is the nature of the person. While doing that work, that person is satisfied because that is his nature. And that is not the end, simply being satisfied with my work and then remaining a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and doing that work. That's not all. Now, doing those duties, of course, you'll do those duties according to the injunctions in the scripture, and you offer all that to the Supreme Lord. Because the goal is not simply remaining a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya. The goal is to come to the point of Shuddha Bhakti. That's the whole idea. That's the highest goal achievable. So therefore, after it is identified, this whole thing is nothing but what Krishna told Arjun in Bhagavad Gita. All this is in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, right? First of all, Krishna talks about Nishkam Karma Yoga. You do your duty. You're a Kshatriya. Kshatriya's duties are like this. You should do. And then he's saying, now you offer whatever you're doing, you offer it to me. You offer it to me. That is the way. That is the way. So you do your work. First of all, it has to be identified who you are, and then do accordingly and offer that work to the Lord. And side by side, this will happen when you come in the association of a devotee. then side by side you will actually start rendering direct devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And gradually, when your bhakti, when your this time allotted to your direct devotional service increases, then the time allotted to this material duties, whether Brahman, Kshatriya, even that duty becomes purified, by the way. You know how? Because you're offering to the Lord, isn't it? So the work that you do, you offer it to the Lord. When you offer it to the Lord, it does not have any reaction. Yagyarthat karmononyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas param rajit. Right? So if you do activities and offer them to the Supreme Lord, that activities will not produce any reaction. They will not bind you to this world. And not only that. And if you're actually doing those duties, not just offering to the Lord with love, even better, right? You're offering it to the Lord with love. Then what will that do? When you're offering like that, the goal of your offering is to please the Supreme Lord. With love means what? You're offering your work, whatever work you're doing, whatever services you're doing, you're offering that to the Lord to please the Lord. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. That is the perfection of all your duties. Atah pumbir dvijashreshta varnashama vibhagashaha swanushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Right? The completion, swanushtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir. What is the perfection of all the work that you do according to varnashram dharma? Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Hari should be pleased. When Hari is pleased by your work, then what is the result? When that is perfection means that will give you a taste for Vasudeva Katharuchi. That work that you're doing to please the Lord, that will give you a taste to hear, a taste for direct devotional service. So it is actually opening your path into pure devotional service. That is why the whole system is important. So here we are seeing this descendant of King Vaivasvata Manu, this son Drishta, his descendants Dharshtas, they were born as Kshatriyas, but then they became Brahmanas. And it is completely acceptable. Not only acceptable, it is right. This is the right thing. Not that because you're born in a Kshatriya family, you have to remain a Kshatriya. No, you have to see whether one is a Kshatriya Brahmana based on his quality. Now, it is a science. How to identify that quality is a science. The gurus in the Gurukula, and so now, what about our situation now, right? Everyone has a question. Okay, that is the Gurukula system. We are all grown up. More than half of our life is over. Now what? What about us? So then Srila Prabhupada said, so we have to do something now also, right? Uh, if the system is not there in place, then we have to start wherever we are. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said we need a Varnashrama college. Varnashrama college is just like Gurukul, only it is for grown-ups. That's all. It's for grown-ups. That's all. The only difference. So for grown-ups, when you come to Varnashrama college, the teachers in that college will be educated, trained in the scriptures. So, based on the writings of the acharyas in the scriptures, they will be trained to identify based on the quality, based on the nature of the students. He will be able to identify whether this person is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. And then he will give him skills according to his nature. Why does he need these skills? For his livelihood. Now also he is earning a livelihood, but he is earning it from vikarma. Vikarma means karma which is not prescribed in the scripture. These factories, you see, Srila Prabhupada's purpose, he never supports factories, industries. This is not Krishna's lifestyle. This is not the lifestyle that Krishna has prescribed for us. And now everyone, the whole society got sucked into this system. Is it not? Is it not? So Varnashrama college means gradually moving. So while you're still earning a livelihood here, spend some time to study, right? To get skills required. And gradually, over a period of several years, you can actually make that move. At least, you'll start it, and the next generations will have that system in place where they can systematically progress in Krishna consciousness. This is just simplifying our lifestyle. That simplifying our lifestyle means it's the mode of goodness. And when you are in the mode of goodness, Krishna consciousness can be practiced without obstacles. Hmm? Mode of goodness means there's no disturbance, there's no agitation. Mode of passion and ignorance means agitation. When you're in the mode of passion and ignorance, how can you, uh, hear the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra when you're chanting? You're too distracted by so many problems, isn't it? Saujanya Mataji.
So the gist is that in the early stage, if it is identified and you're trained like that because of your guna and karma, then you're fine. It's not like not like how Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was trained and then later stage
Correct.
he's saying, I want to change it. It's not like that.
Yeah. And also, certainly, it has to be recognized by the authority. It may happen in the later stage, but it has to be recognized by the authority. You see, Vishwamitra Muni changed in a later stage. He was born a Kshatriya, but later he became a Rishi. He became a Brahma Rishi. But he actually worked for that and he actually did become. So, in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada said, you have spiritual like duties based on the level of the soul and duties based on the level of the body. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, based on body, you have duties that you get from your guru in Gurukula, and then you use that as your means of livelihood. But then, when you actually take shelter of a spiritual master to progress in spiritual life, not just for your maintenance, of course, the overall plan is to help in spiritual progress. But one is a slow, gradual process or an indirect way, and the other one is a direct way. When you take directly to bhakti and you take shelter of a guru to progress in bhakti, that's a direct path. Whereas you go through, the Varnashram system and you get trained as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and then you follow your particular duties. And by doing those duties, when the Lord is satisfied, you'll get a taste, and then now you'll start also. So now slowly you're coming there. Whereas this is a direct path. So if you directly take shelter of a guru and you're practicing Krishna consciousness, now your duties in Krishna consciousness uh, when you are surrendered to the Lord, that means when you become a Shuddha Bhakta. That's the point. Shuddha Bhakta, again, conditions. 24/7 you're doing bhakti. So when you become a Shuddha Bhakta, then you are acting on the level of a soul. Now your guru tells you now Shuddha Bhakta does not identify himself as Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That is the whole point. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra identification is before you are a Shuddha Bhakta. Because you're in the bodily concept. Body, this Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is for the body, not for the soul. The soul has only one identity. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. In whatever capacity Krishna wants me to serve, I will serve. Of course, when you progress in Shuddha Bhakti to higher stages, then you have a particular relationship also. You can either be a servant or a friend or a parent or a lover. That is there when you go higher. And usually, in most cases, you can say majority of the cases, you have a relationship and that's your eternal relationship. It's not like you change. Sometimes now you are a servant and then you want to become a friend, then you want to become a parent. No. You'll have one relationship with Krishna because that fulfills you the most. That is your relationship. Like Hanumanji is always a servant, like that. So there's no shifting there. But when you enter into Shuddha Bhakti, you're doing sadhana bhakti, now or even higher stages also, while you're in this material world, especially you're in this material body in this world and you're practicing Shuddha Bhakti, you have to also set an example to the society. You have to lead others who are not yet Shuddha Bhaktas. So in that case, the Guru may tell you, I want you to be a Kshatriya king. Even though you are a Shuddha Bhakta, you don't identify yourself either as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. You see yourself as a servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. By the order of the Guru, you can act in any capacity. You can either become a Shudra or you can become a, like Tukaramji Maharaj, right? Apparently, he was from a Shudra community. But is he a Shudra? No way. He is a Paramhamsa, right? He's an exalted devotee. So similarly, someone who's already a Shuddha Bhakta, he can act in the capacity of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But you have to see what is his consciousness. He does not identify himself as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So changing in this life so you have to remember two things here. One is a pure devotee, the other one is aspiring to be a pure devotee. One who is aspiring to be a pure devotee, uh, then for him this training is given. The Guru recognizes him as a Brahmana or Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and gives him the duties according to that. Now he has to stick to that duty. Until what time does he have to stick to that duty as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? Throughout his life until he gives up his body? Not necessarily. He will have to stick to his duties until he becomes a Shuddha Bhakta. Until he enters into pure devotional service, he has to stick to his duties. After entering into pure devotional service, what should he do? It does not matter. He can just give up. He doesn't have to do any of these duties. No Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, no problem. Like Trishadra, right? He just gave up everything, he was just wandering. That's perfect. Rishabdev, he gave up. He's of course the Supreme Lord, but he's setting an example, right? You're not a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and that's totally fine. Or you can even still act in this society as a leader, as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or in any capacity you can act so that you will lead others towards Shuddha Bhakti. That is also fine. But there are no hard and fast rules for such a person. So can we say that someone cannot change in this life from one to another? We cannot say that. It's not a hard and fast rule. The thing is, majority of the people in this world, you can say all the people in this world, maybe you have one or two, right? Maybe you have very few Shuddha Bhaktas, and even if they are there, you won't recognize them, right? But most of us belong to this section of aspiring, aspiring devotees. We want to be Shuddha Bhaktas. So what is applicable to us? We must, because aspiring means we are not yet in Shuddha Bhakti. That means we are still in this world. Our consciousness, our faith is still in this world. We have attachments in this world. Not just attachments, it's just about our faith. We didn't get full faith in bhakti, full faith in Krishna yet. We are still doing duties in this world thinking that I am this body. I need this because I am this body. I need a house. I need this. I need that, right? That is our consciousness. For such people, it is essential that you recognize what is your material nature, because we all have that uh, faith in material body, and we are still stuck, right? Those ropes are still tying us to this material world. We didn't get that full faith, so we are doing some duties in this world. It's talking about the material duties that you are already doing in this world. Do those duties which will help you progress in Krishna consciousness. Don't do those duties which will pull you down from your Krishna consciousness. That's the whole point. So for such people, when it is identified what is your nature, chances are that will be your nature. Materially, that will be your nature. That nature will go away when you transcend the material position. So as long as you're in the material nature, you stick to your particular varna, whether you're a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever is identified by the Guru, you stick to your duties. It is not a loss. Even by doing those duties, you will actually progress in bhakti. That is the whole point. There's no need to jump from a Kshatriya to a Brahmana because Brahmana is superior and Kshatriya is inferior. I want to be a Brahmana. Not needed. Being a Brahmana, you may not enter into pure devotional service. But as a Kshatriya or even as a Shudra, you can enter into pure devotional service. It is all about being obedient to the Supreme Lord. I already have a particular nature. Let me engage this nature which I already have in the Lord's service. How do I do that? I will do those activities which are according to my nature, but which are prescribed by the Lord in the scriptures. I will do those activities. And should I just stick to those activities all the time? No. This is part. You are actually trying to be a pure devotee. So you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And by this, you're cultivating your faith in bhakti. So until you don't get full faith, You're doing your duty as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And your whole idea is to minimize it gradually. Now, what is happening currently, we don't know who is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And majority, 99% is what we are doing is only material activity. Maybe 1% every day, little bit we are chanting Hare Krishna, that also not with focus, right? Here and there doing other things, driving or, maybe reading something, talking, cooking, we are chanting somehow. So very little percentage we are doing bhakti. Most of it is material activity. And that material activity is what? Vikarma, right? We work in software companies, we work in businesses, in banks, in hospitals, as teachers of material knowledge, material education. This is all vikarma. And vikarma's quality is they are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance are not conducive for doing bhajan, for practicing. They're not conducive. Why they're not conducive? They pull your mind here and there in so many different ways. You cannot peacefully sit and focus. So that's why adjusting our material condition, material life, so that we can actually focus on the real subject, Krishna consciousness. So that is the long answer to your short question, Saujanya Mataji. Yeah. So in this life also it is possible. You can change from one to another. If it is on a spiritual platform, you can change. Or if your authorities, always in spiritual life, always we go by the guidance of the spiritual authority, the guru, right? Gurus. You can have more than one guru also. Always we take steps because they can see, they are superior to us, they can see where we are, what our qualities are, and when they recognize it, then according to that we do. So the point is, when you take to spiritual life, when you join, when you surrender to Krishna, then the guru tells you go and do book distribution. You don't say, oh, book distribution, that's more like a Vaishya's duty, selling books. I'm not a Vaishya, I will do pujari work. No. Then when you surrender, then you'll just do whatever, right? But when you're not surrendered, then the guru has to guide you according to your nature. Otherwise, if you're forced, then you'll break, right? You'll lose and you'll just leave and go away. So that's a very sensitive thing. So the guru is very intelligent, or guru has to be, so that he'll guide the disciple according to his nature initially. But once he surrenders, then he's ready to do anything. Let's continue. We're reading about Dharshtas who became Brahmanas, and here Narad Muni shloka, statement is quoted from the seventh canto. Yasya yal lakshanam proktam pumso varnabhi vyanjakam yad anyatrapi drishyeta tattenaiva vinirdishet. If the qualities of one group are found in the men of another, so now they are found. So who's finding this? It's the guru. If the qualities of one group are found in the men of another, those men should be recognized. Who's recognizing? The guru is recognizing. They should be recognized by their qualities, by their symptoms, not by the caste of the family. So the guru shouldn't go by the birth, he should go by the qualities. Generally, when you take birth in a particular family, because of the samskaras in that family, you will be that only. But in some cases, it's not necessary. Always it should happen. So the guru doesn't go by birth, he goes by the qualities. Birth is not all important. It doesn't say that birth is unimportant, but it is not. Uh, oh well, it is saying birth is not at all important. Yeah. So if there is no training, especially in today's world, right? If there is no training, then what is the value of birth? Birth becomes important only when you get that type of training, which happened in the Varnashram society back in the yore. Now there is no training. What training? Whether you are taken in Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, how do you recognize someone as Brahman? By their last name. That's all, right? Somebody is Thakur Singh means, oh, he's a Kshatriya. But what does he do? He also goes to LKG, UKG, first, second, third grade, 10th grade, intermediate college, and then, becomes an engineer or a doctor. But he has the name Singh or Thakur. I'm a Kshatriya. What type of training did he get? Whether he's a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, everyone gets the same training. That is today's society. So where is Kshatriya? It's just in name. Of course, by coming in that lineage in the family, if you get some samskaras, maybe somewhere they may be there. But your training, as far as training, you're all trained. We are all trained as Shudras. Okay, continuation. But we should go by the qualities. वसोः प्रतीकस्तत्पुत्रा ओघवान् ओघवत्पिता कन्या चौघवती नाम सुदर्शना उवाहताम्. Okay, I lost track. Who read? Priyanka Mataji, you're supposed to read. Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. The son of Vasu was Pratika. Just a second, Mataji. Yeah. The son of Vasu was Pratik, whose son was Ughavan. Ughavan's son was also known as Oghavan, and his daughter was Oghavati. So Darshana married that daughter.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So we are going in we are seeing the descendants. So what did we see? Vaivasvata son is Drishta. No, Drishta Dashtas is over. Then Nriga, yes. King Nriga is the son of Vaivasvata Manu. Nriga's son is Sumati. Sumati's son is, what is that? Buddhi Jyoti? Bhuta Jyoti. Bhuta Jyoti. Okay. Sumati's son is Bhuta Jyoti. Bhuta Jyoti's son is Vasu. So now we are going further down in the lineage. So after Vasu, Vasu's son is Oghavan. Oghavan's son is also called, Vasu's son is Pratika. We have Pratik Prabhu in our congregation. Pratika. Vasu's son is Pratika. Pratika's son is Oghavan. Oghavan's son is also called Oghavan and his daughter is called Oghavati. They are all descendants of King Nriga, who is the son, one of the 10 sons of Vaivasvata Manu. So Sudarshana married that daughter. Which Sudarshana? That Sudarshana, Lord Vishnu Sudarshana. Sudarshana married that daughter Oghavati. Let's continue reading. चित्रसेनो न ऋष्यन्तात् ऋक्षस्तस्य सुतो भवत् तस्य मेढ्वांस्ततः पूर्णा इन्द्रसेनस्तु तत्सुतः. सौजन्य माताजी. Did Mataji leave? Oh, you're here. Saujanya Mataji, you're able to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry.
From Narishyanta.
From Narishyanta came a son named Chitrasena, and from him a son named Raksha. From Raksha came Midvan. From Midvan came Purna, and from Purna came Indrasena. Hare.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So who is Narishyanta? The son of Sudarshan and Oghavati? Maybe, because we didn't see. Sudarshan married Oghavati, okay. From Narishyanta. I'm thinking Narishyanta, or is Narishyanta is another son of Manu. It said here, see, Narishyanta is another son of Manu. So we read about the descendants coming from Nriga. Now the next son of Manu is Narishyanta. Okay, we saw Prishadra, then we saw who is it? Kavi, who went into the forest. Kavi, then Karusha, and then Drishta and Nriga. 5. Okay, and now the next one is Narishyanta, the sons of Vaivasvata Manu. Narishyanta. So from Narishyanta came Chitrasena, from Chitrasena came Riksha, from Riksha came Meedvan, from Meedvan came Purna, and from Purna came Indrasena. Next. Vitihotrasvindrasena tasya satyashrava abhut Purushravah sutastasya Devadattastato bhavat. Achintadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll read.
Yeah.
From Indrasena came Vitihotra, and from Vitihotra came Satyasrava. From Satyasrava came the son named Urushrava, and from Urushrava came Devadatta.
Yeah. So these are the descendants coming from Narishyanta. Okay, Narishyanta, another son of Vaivasvata Manu. So we saw previously Narishyanta's son is Chitrasena. Chitrasena's son is Riksha. Riksha's son is Medvan. Medvan's son Purna. Purna's son Indrasena. Now Indrasena's son Vitihotra. Vitihotra's son Satyashrava. Satyashrava's son Urushrava, and Urushrava's son Devadatta. ततोऽग्निवेश्यो भगवान् अग्निः स्वयम् अभूत् सुतः कानीन इति विख्यातो जातुकर्ण्यो महान् ऋषिः. प्रभु जी और अरुणिता. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
From Devadatta came a son known as Agnishva.
Agniveshya.
Agniveshya, who was the fire god Agni himself. This son, who was a celebrated saint, was well known as
Kanina and Jatukarnya.
Kanina and Jatukarnya. Agniveshya was also known as Kanina and Jatukarnya.
Yeah. So continuing with the descendants coming down from Narishyanta. So this is from Devadatta came Agniveshya. Who is Agniveshya? Agniveshya is the fire god Agni himself, and his other names are Kanina and Jatukarnya. Kanina, Jatukarnya. Okay. Next, Achintadev Prabhu. Tato Brahmakulam Jatam Agniveshaya Nam Nripa Narishyantanvayah Prokto Dishtavamsam Atah Shrinu. Later. Okay, so next, Inba, Inya are not here. Madhava, Rasapriya, Krishna Shish. One of you, go ahead.
O king, from Agniveshya came a Brahminical dynasty known as Agniveshyana. Now that I have described the descendants of Narishyanta, let me describe the descendants of Dishta. Please hear from me.
So Dishta is different from Drishta. Drishta was already over. This is the next son of Vaivasvata Manu. Dishta. Okay. Nabhago Dishta Putronyah Karmana Vaishyatam Gataha Bhalandanaha Sutastasya Vatsapritir Bhalandanat Vatsaprite Sutah Pramshus Tatsutam Pramatim Viduhu Khanitraha Pramates Tasmat Chakshushotha Vivimshatihi. Okay. We have a purport here. Anyway, Madhava.
From Manu,
Dishta
had a son by the name Nabhaga. This Nabhaga, who was different from the Nabhaga described later, became a Vaishya by occupational duty. The son of Nabhaga was known as Balanandana. The son of Balanandana was Vatsapriti, and his son was Pramsu. Pramsu's son was Pramati, and Pramati's son was
Kanitra.
Kanitra's son was Saksasa, and his wife was Vivimsati.
So we are reading the descendants of Dishta. His son is Nabhaga. Then the other followers, the descendants coming from Nabhaga are given here. So this Nabhaga, who was different from the Nabhaga described later, became a Vaishya by occupational duty. Okay. So this Nabhaga became a Vaishya. We saw Karusha, Drishta. Well, Karusha is Kshatriya. Drishta, they later on became Brahmanas. And now this Nabhaga, who is a descendant of Dishta, he became a Vaishya. His descendants became Vaishyas. Okay. But this Nabhaga is different from the other Nabhaga, the Kshatriya Nabhaga. This is different. Okay. The son of Nabhaga was known as Bhalandana. Son of Bhalandana is Vatsapriti. His son is Pramshu. Pramshu's son is Pramati. Pramati's son is Khanitra. Khanitra's son is Chakshusha. Chakshusha's wife is Vivimshati. Rasapriya.
From Manu, one son became a Kshatriya, another a Brahmana, and another a Vaishya. This comes from the statement by Narad Muni. Yasya yal
Lakshanam proktam pumso varnam vinyanjakam.
One should always remember the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. That should never be
Regarded
regarded as members of a caste by birth. A Brahmana may be changed into a Kshatriya, and a Kshatriya may into a Brahmana. Similarly, a Brahmana or Kshatriya may be changed into a Vaishya, and a Vaishya into a Brahmana or Kshatriya. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita.
Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam.
Guna karma vibhavasa. So one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, never by birth, but by quality. There is a great need of Brahmanas. Therefore, in the Krishna conscious movement, we are trying to train some Brahmanas to guide human society. Because at present, there is a scarcity of Brahmanas. The brain of human society is vast, because practically everyone is a Sudra. No one at the present moment can guide the members of society to the proper path by which to achieve perfection in life.
Yeah, the thing is, how do we know what is to be done, what is not to be done? That is knowledge. Where do we get this knowledge? That knowledge is gotten from Shastras. Who are qualified to study the Shastras? Brahmanas. So first you have to have Brahmanas who will know what is in the Shastras, and then these Brahmanas can guide the society. They can actually relate to the society what is being said in the Shastras. We need Brahmanas in the society. Also to identify who's Kshatriya, who's Vaishya, who's for that also we need Brahmanas. Gurus means what? Brahmanas. So there's a great need for Brahmanas. Then these Brahmanas can actually uh, organize the whole society at large for the progress. Okay. 1 second, Mataji. I'll take your question, but first I want to make sure everyone read today. So who all didn't read? I think we started with Kalpesh.
My
Huh?
dad is here to read.
Oh, acha. Okay, okay. I thought it's a question. All right. विविंशतेः सुतोरम्भः खनिनेत्रोऽस्य धार्मिकः करन्धमो महाराजा तस्यासीदात्मजो नृपः. Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Translation: The son of Vimisati was Ramba, whose son was the great and religious king Kaninetra. O king, the son of Kaninetra was King Karandhama.
Karandama. Yeah. So this, thank you, Prabhuji. This is also interesting. This Vivimshati is the son. See, what did we read here? They all became Vaishyas. Dishta's descendants became Vaishyas. Yes. And one of his descendants is Chakshusha, and Chakshusha's wife is Vivimshati. Now, the son of this uh, Vivimshati, so not wife, his son. Chakshusha's son is Vivimshati. So they are all. So it is said that Nabhaga became a Vaishya. So then his descendants. But then again, this Vivimshati's son is Rambha, and then he is a great king. His son Khani Netra is a great king. Now again a Kshatriya. That's why in the previous purport, Srila Prabhupada said Brahmana can become a Kshatriya, or Kshatriya can become a Brahmana, right? Or a Vaishya, and Vaishya can become a Kshatriya again. Anything is possible. But the important thing is they should have those qualities. The son of Khani Netra was King Karandama. So once again, now they are Kshatriyas. Next. तस्यावीक्षित्सुतो यस्या मरुतश्चक्रवर्त्यभूत् संवर्तो याजयद्यं वै महायोग्यङ्गिरः सुतः. Lokesh, did you read?
No, Mataji.
Go ahead. Karandama.
Karandama came a son Avikshit, and from Avikshit a son named Maruta, who was the emperor, the great mystic Samvarta, the son of Aringa, Angira engaged Maruta in performing a sacrificial yajna.
Yes. So now again in that same disciplic succession, disciplic means seminal. Okay. Descendants in the dynasty of Dishta, is Karandama. Karandama's son is Avikshit. Avikshit's son Marutta. Marutta became the emperor. Emperor means for the whole planet. And the great mystic Samvarta, the son of Angira, this is a mystic, sadhu, sage, he engaged this emperor Marutta in performing a sacrifice. Okay, Samvarta, the son of Angira, engaged Marutta in performing a sacrifice. मरुत्तस्य यथा यज्ञो न तथान्योऽस्ति कश्चन सर्वं हिरण्मयं त्वासीद् यत्किञ्चिच्चास्य शोभनम्. Lokesh, your parents are there? No.
No, Mataji.
Sonia Mataji, are there?
Yes, Mataji.
You can read.
Translation. The sacrificial paraphernalia of King Maruta was extremely beautiful, so everything was made of gold. Indeed, no other sacrifice could compare to his.
Yes, actually, in Mahabharata we read that when Arjun went out to collect wealth to perform Rajasuya sacrifice, he was directed here because the sacrifice that was performed by Marutta was so opulent. Everything was gold, whatever he used, right? The big pots, everything was in gold. And then after the sacrifice, all that was the property of the sages who performed the sacrifice. But the sages, they have no attraction for the wealth, so they just left it there and went away. So it was just sitting there. So, mm, I forget if it was Vyasdev, suggested to Arjun, you go and collect that from there, like that. So we are reading about that sacrifice now, which was performed long time ago. So the sacrificial paraphernalia of King Marutta, who Samvarta, the son of Angira, made Marutta to perform this sacrifice. So in this sacrifice, the paraphernalia that he used was extremely beautiful. Everything was made of gold, and there's no other sacrifice that can compare to the sacrifice performed by Marutta. Alright, did anyone not read today? Everyone has read. So we will stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam reading. We'll continue tomorrow. So tomorrow again, Kalpesh Prabhu can begin. Okay. I'll read Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text 63. So yesterday we saw Krishna is saying to Arjun, you should surrender to him. Him means Paramatma. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Or what is that verse? Not Sarvasya chaham. Ishvara sarva bhutani hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. Right? Paramatma. You should surrender to him, Krishna is saying. And in the end, Srila Prabhupada said, so surrender to Paramatma means what? The perfection of that is to surrender to Krishna only. Next verse. Iti te jnanamakhyatam. Repeat. Guhyat guhyataram maya
Guhyataram maya
vimrishyaitad aseshena
umrishyate
aseshena
asheshana
yatijhasi tatha kuru.
yatijhasi
As
tata.
I have explained to you,
I have explained to you.
knowledge is still more confidential.
Knowledge still more confident.
Deliberate on this fully
Deliberate on
and
this
then do what you wish to do.
and then do what you wish to do.
This is our Krishna's style. Give all knowledge and then give full freedom. Now you have all the knowledge with you, you deliberate on it, contemplate on it, and then you choose what you want to do. There's no force. Krishna does not force anyone. So that's the way of education that we give also, following in the footsteps of our master, whether it is our children or anyone else. When we talk to them, when we give them all knowledge, but then especially the children born in Krishna consciousness, right? They have actually they are endowed with this good fortune, right? But at the same time, there is no force. There's no force because Krishna does not force. But we give them everything, all the knowledge that we have received. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to pass it on to the children. How do we pass it on to the children? By living according to that knowledge ourselves. That is the way to pass it on to the children, not by, beating them up, with the knowledge that, no, you are this, and no, that doesn't work. I will tell you something. Um, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, I was listening to his lecture yesterday. He said once, Prabhupada disciple, I don't know how many of you know, Shesha Prabhu. I don't know if he still is, but for many years he was the minister, GBC, Minister for Education in ISKCON. So he lives in Alachua. He's also an attorney by profession. He helps the devotees. So Shesha Prabhu and his wife, Madhumati Mataji, they have two daughters. So this was, I think, many years ago when they were still young, teenagers. So they were visiting Guru in California, and there uh, Maharaj said they were young, they were teenagers, but they were pretty Krishna conscious, because usually it's at that time when they're teenage, that's when they are not interested in Krishna consciousness. They don't want anything to do with it. So, but they were pretty Krishna conscious. So Maharaj asked them, the parents, how did you do this? So they said only one thing: we never told them that they should do this or they should do that. But for ourselves, we very strictly followed the Krishna consciousness uh, practices. We strictly followed, but we never enforced it on them. We never told them that you have to do this. They were very, so in what way they were strictly practicing, either at home or in the temple, regularly, every day. They are participating, practicing Krishna consciousness, morning program, going to the temple, Bhagavatam class, chanting, in every way. They were very strict with themselves. This was the lesson they were teaching to their children. But at the same time, Yathechasi tathakuru, right? You do. Now I have given you everything. I have shown you by my example. Huh? This is my path. I have chosen this path, and this is what Krishna is telling. I am following it. Now you have the freedom to choose, right? You have the freedom to choose, like that. This is Krishna's style. And the result is, you can say always, if there is no fault on your part, sooner or later they will take to it, right? They will take to it. And if they don't take it right away, we are not in control, right? We can only do our part, because there are many factors how one becomes a Krishna conscious devotee. So Krishna is saying to Arjun, after this whole thing, all these instructions, now Krishna is saying, thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Purport: the Lord has already explained to Arjun the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta in this 18th chapter itself, right? He told him about Brahma Bhuta. One who is in the Brahma Bhuta condition is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is due to confidential knowledge. Yes, understanding that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul, that is confidential knowledge. Krishna also discloses knowledge of super soul, Paramatma. This is also Brahman knowledge of Brahman, but it is more confidential. It is superior. Paramatma knowledge is superior to Brahman knowledge. Here the words Yathechasi Tathakuru, as you like you may act, indicate that God does not interfere with the little independence of the living entity. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects how one can elevate his living condition. He gives everything, all information required to elevate our living condition. The best advice imparted to Arjun is to surrender unto the super soul seated within his heart. By right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of the super soul. That will help one become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Arjun is being directly ordered by the personality of Godhead to fight. Surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in the best interest of the living entities. It is not for the interest of the Supreme. He's not telling us you surrender to me because he needs us to surrender so that he can maintain his position as the Lord. If nobody surrenders to him, what will happen to his position? That is the problem in this world for the conditioned souls. The Lord has no such problem. So he is not asking us to surrender because it is in his interest. He is asking us to surrender because it is in our best interest. Before surrendering, one is free to deliberate on this subject as far as the intelligence goes, right? You're free to deliberate. Before you surrender, take your time. You're free to deliberate on this subject as far as the intelligence goes. But that is the best way to accept the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such instruction comes also through the spiritual master, the bona fide representative of Krishna. So either you're getting it from Paramatma, and the same thing you can also get from the spiritual master, right? Because sometimes when you hear the Paramatma, you don't know if you're hearing Paramatma or your mind. And then you'll say, oh, Paramatma said, so I should go and kill this person. Because we are so covered over, so better you hear from the spiritual master. But of course, in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada said, you follow the order of Paramatma. Well, with good discrimination. That also Srila Prabhupada said, right? You cannot mistake. Read a little bit of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita also. Sorry for holding you back. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Continuation. Janmashtami was drawing near and Bhaktivedanta Swami was planning a celebration at the Radha Damodar temple. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada came to Bombay. He got donation from Skindia Shipping Company's owner, Sumati Morarji. Right? She said, whatever you want to write, you write. After seeing his books, Bhagavatam first and second volume, she said, you write, I will pay for it. Now Srila Prabhupada came back to Vrindavan. So Janmashtami was drawing near and Bhaktivedanta Swami was planning a celebration at the Radha Damodar temple. He wanted to invite Vishwanath Das, the governor of Uttar Pradesh, to preside over the ceremony honoring Lord Krishna's appearance. Sri Vishwanath had received a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam Volume 1 and had written a favorable review. Although a politician, he was known for his affection and respect for sadhus. He regularly invited recognized sadhus to his home, and once a year he would visit all the important temples of Mathura and Vrindavan. Bhaktivedanta Swami asked Vrindavan's municipal president Mangalal Sharma to invite the governor to the Janmashtami celebration at Radha Damodar temple. The governor readily accepted the invitation. Bhaktivedanta Swami printed a flyer announcing, on the occasion of Janmashtami ceremony at the Samadhi ground of Srila Rupa and Jiva Goswami, Sri Radha Damodar temple, Seva Kunj Vrindavan, Gaudiya Kirtan performances in the presence of His Excellency Sri Vishwanath Das, Governor of Uttar Pradesh, and the chief guest Sri G.D. Somani of Bombay, trustee of Sri Ranganathji Temple, Vrindavan, dated at Vrindavan, Sunday, the 31st August 1964 at 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. The flyer contained an advertisement for the Srimad Bhagavatam series to be completed in 60 volumes. So that's also advertising the Bhagavatam. Bhajans to be sung on the occasion, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Nitai Pada Kamala, the prayers to the six Goswamis, and other favorite songs of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas were printed in Bengali as a song book. Okay, I'll just read the next one also. The program was successful. A large crowd attended and sang songs to Lord Krishna and took prasadam. Bhaktivedanta Swami lectured on a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam describing the age of Kali as an ocean of faults that had but one saving quality, the chanting of Hare Krishna. After leading Hare Krishna Kirtan, Bhaktivedanta Swami presented a copy of his second volume of Srimad Bhagavatam to the governor and spoke of his plans to preach all over the world. See? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we will stop here. Thank you all so much. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.